Okay, so we're going to try doing a bit of building, mostly building with code here. Bear with me on this one because it'll take a little bit of working out. Now we can build like this, of course. Good times. Kind of slow, kind of boring. So we're going to build with code, and you can do it by placing blocks. So I've started with the usual default code here. Let's do some more things. So player on chat build. It's nice to keep this nice and tidy. And on chat, I really don't know why they chose on chat as the default name. I guess it kind of makes sense. Anyway, so build. I'm going to call this one build 1 because there may be more than one. There may not. Who knows? But I'm giving myself a chance. So build is going to build 1. So is going to place a block of grass position 0, 0, 0. In fact, let's make it slightly more exciting than that. Make it 1, 3, 1. So it should be kind of floating in the air when we run this one. When I type build, did it do it? Yeah, nice. Got rid of that. Okay, so. That wasn't very exciting. Now, you are probably thinking, oh, you could probably do some looping kind of stuff as well. Well, definitely you can. So how could we do that? Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we use the for loop and use the actual value of the variable. So remember we did this before for I in range 100. And the time I just said it just does it 100 times, which is entirely correct. It does it 100 times. But one of the things that's really useful is that this variable here is actually, I'll say a variable. I don't even mention what a variable is. It's a letter that stands for a number, and that number can change. It can vary. It's called a variable. So as we go through the loop, this changes. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., etc. So instead of just placing at this position here, I'm going to say I. So the position is going to change each time. So let's just see what that looks like. So it's looking very dull here at the moment. So build. Let's go. Oh yeah, there it is. Look. So I've placed blocks at 100 different positions there. Now, you can imagine this would make it relatively easy to build a house if we wanted to do that. We would just need to go in here and think about how can we build a wall. You know what? Why don't we just build a big old wall right now as well? I'm going to do a loop inside a loop. So the first loop is going to be this one that just draws a long line, and then we're going to have another loop which goes up by 1 each time. So for j in range, hope we don't end up accidentally going outside the world. You notice I'm having to indent again. So I've got a loop inside a loop. So 100 times is going to do this other thing, which is 100 times, which is going to be place a block of grass. So 100 times 100 is we're actually going to place 10,000 blocks of grass. And j is going to be the y coordinate. So I think it's going to do it vertically first, isn't it? So the inside loop, it will go j1 to 100, and it will do a vertical line, and then it go to the outside loop, which will change the I value by 1, move it across, and then we'll do the inside loop and we'll do another vertical line again. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's give it a go. Build, build, build. Something's happening. Let's go and have a look. That feels kind of like what we were expecting. Building straight up, and we should see another one going straight up. Now, annoyingly, because I'm using position pos 0, 0, 0, if I move, the building position moves with me. You see that? So if I go over here, it starts building over here, and then if I go forwards. So the position is always relative to me. So I'm making a big old mess, frankly, as I move around here. Oops. But whatever. All good times. Yeah. Anyway, So I guess I could get around that by, instead of using pos, we can use world, I think. So if we say world ij1, it will build at that position. Unfortunately, I don't know where that is. I've moved around in this world, so it's probably nowhere near me. But you know, just to prove a point, I'll type in build, and I'll say nowhere near me. What we're looking for is in the distance to see some honking great wall being built. I can't remember how far I've moved from my spawn point here. Ah, there we go. Yeah, there it is. Over in the far distance over there, you can see it's building many, many blocks in that space. There you go. So there, that's illustrated very clearly the difference between pos and world, hasn't it? So we could make a building that way. That would be one wall. That would be a big wall. Let's have a look at some other options that we've got, apart from just like placing blocks inside loops. We also have an agent. Now an agent is kind of cool. In fact, let's just get down to earth, as it were. You saw him in the last video. The agent, I was just making him run around in circles. It felt kind of cool, to be honest, but anyway. But the agent can actually build as well. So if I scroll down to here, he can place a block in a direction. We need to make sure that he's got blocks in his inventory, and then he can place and then he can move and so on. So it's relatively easy. You saw how I had him running around in circles. I could have him running around in circles, placing blocks as he goes, and you know, this is how you actually, this set blocker item is what actually puts a block into his inventory. And you know, you could easily get him to build a house that way, so there'd be absolutely no problem with that. So that's one other way to build something. There is actually a builder as well, a set of builder stuff, and you can see this has got some relatively sophisticated stuff. So builder raise wall from mark. Along the path the builder travels into the last marked position. So this is a little bit more complicated. You saw it's under advanced. So the builder is kind of like the agent, I think, but I think it moves faster and you don't actually get to see it. So mark the current builder's position. Let's do this, shall we? Let's make a new function and do some building. So def build 2. You see, I knew I'd do a build 2. Def build 2, and we're going to say builder.mark. Control X. So that's marking where it is. I've not done this before. I'm making this up, but we'll work it out when we. We'll call this one build 2. Well, I still want to keep that one, so I'll just copy and paste this instead. So build 2, and it's going to go to build 2. I should make that build 1 just to be consistent, shouldn't I? That's neater. Right. Builder.mark. What else does the builder do? It builds a wall from where we marked, isn't it? That's why I put a mark in. So build a line from mark with block. Raise a wall from mark with block of 5. I think that's what I wanted. Not inside the def tab. Now it's inside the def. Grass. How about andesite? How about it, eh? I don't know what the 5 is. I guess we can find out. So, what's it build to? So it should be here-ish, I'm thinking. I don't know. Code. No, not code. Talk. Did I just press C? No. Talk. Build 2. Aha. That wasn't there before, was it? Let's go back to the code. I was hoping it would be more of a wall than just a single column. So perhaps you need to raise the wall special block and height along the path the builder travelled since the last marked position. Ah, okay. So what we could do then is we can say builder.mark, and then we can say move forward just say move, shall we? Builder.mark, builder.shift, and we're going to say 10. But we're not going to go any other direction. 0 and 0. Have I not got numlock on my keyboard? That's so annoying. Consistent spacing is nice, isn't it? But not that way. That's actually... Excuse me while I just kind of fiddle around a little bit. I'm just trying to make it look nice. It's important that code is readable, and making code readable involves actually getting your spacing and indentation nice and neat. So the idea is it's going to mark a point, it's going to shift by 10, and then it's going to raise a wall of andesite 5 high. Let's make it 10 high. Go big or go home, mate. Build 2. So right here. Wish I'd chosen a more open spot than this, but anyway, we go with what we got. Keep pressing C instead of T. Build 2. Hey, it's a bit on top of me again, isn't it? So, yeah, I think I did what I wanted. So again, we're a little bit more sophisticated now. So this builder is able to do relatively interesting things, like in terms of moving around and placing marks. And I think I also made it make a shape at some point, did I? When I did that circle. All right. Last thing we're going to do with building. Last thing. Let's go somewhere. What's all this stuff over here? Oh, I remember. This was when I was mucking around with something else. I was using their arena code to do some stuff. That's not pretty, is it? I've made a mess there. Back over here, and we're going to clone some space to make a gigantic thing. So here's my plan now. I am going to go into code, and I'm going to do a build 3. Control C, Control V, build 3, build 3, Control C, Control V, 3. Right, there we go. Build 3, and what I wanted to do was blocks. I want to clone. So I saw this earlier. It's a relatively complex function. Repeater, comparator, replace, clone. There we go. So this is going to clone a whole bunch of stuff. My plan, my cunning plan, is that I'm going to clone all the ground beneath my feet, as it were. So this is the starting position, the starting corner. This is the finishing corner of what you are going to clone. And then this specifies the bottom left corner of where it's going to go, where the clone is going to go. And then there's some other parameters over here. So I am going to go from minus, I don't know, 100. How deep can you go before it crashes? I guess someone's going to find out. Minus 100, minus 100, minus 100. And we're going to go to, well, we might as well go to my position, 0, 0, 0. And then we're going to copy it to, let's go a little bit away from me. I don't really want it right on top of me. Who knows? That may, hopefully that's going to be a little bit away from me, but at the same level as me, and it's going to copy a gigantic block of the world, for like 100 blocks by 100 blocks by 100 blocks, from that bottom left corner to that top right corner, where I want it. May work, may not. Let's run it. Build 3. I'm expecting a big thing to appear. It does not. Wonder why. Looking around. I did do this before. It did actually work. A little bit surprised that nothing has appeared. Shall I go check that code again? So blocks.clone from minus 100 minus. You know, I'm going to change that to minus 50 just in case. I have no idea what the problem is here, but you've got to try something, haven't you? You know, fiddle around until it works. Minus 50, minus 50. maybe that's the area I couldn't find where it was. And I'm going to go 10, so it's a little bit closer to home. 10. Yeah, I don't need to click that, do I? So build 3, was it? So T build 3. I should check, of course, that it is build 3 that I'm supposed to be typing. Oh, crikey O'Reilly, there it is. Don't know why it didn't work before then. All I did was change those numbers. Someone could do a bit of investigation of that. So that's what was underneath us. Obviously there was a bit of caving, there's a bit of a cross section. We can see the various stuff that was underneath. So that could be the start of a building, couldn't it? You start off with the gigantic rectangle. It's nice that we also must have cloned this lake at the top of it, which is why, in fact, if we look at the top, it should look just like what was down there underneath before, shouldn't it? Pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to what was down there before. It looks like there was a bit of a forest here, and the cutoff was at the level of the trunks. So we got the wood from the trunk, but we didn't get the rest of the tree. So if I wanted to have cloned the whole tree as well, I would needed to have set that Y to be a little bit higher. I think that's quite a long video. I think we're done there. So that's a few ideas for building. I barely scratched the surface, of course, of what you can do. But yeah, between placing blocks in loops and using, which was what we did over there, and using the agent or the builder. That was the builder we used to make those two big things over there. And then this was a big clone thing that I did here. That's quite a lot of starting points that we can use to make something cool. Right. Enjoy.